the argument is that pornographic images don't harm anyone as they are merely fantasies. But fantasies of what? Of hurting women? Of humiliating them? Of treating them as dehumanized objects? As the philosopher, Roger Scruton, argues in his book Sexual Desire, fantasy has a tendency to remake the world in its own image. So the harmless porn voyeur can turn into a rapist with a gun. For his fantasy is governed by monstrous myths and illusions. That women wish to be raped, that children are waiting to be awakened to sexual pleasure, or that violence is a natural right.
In 2010, when I was deployed to Iraq, I had to lie about who I was because I'm a gay soldier, and I didn't want to lose my job. My question is, under one of your presidencies, do you intend to circumvent the progress that's been made for gay and lesbian soldiers in the military?
Heard the booing, he would have condemned it on the spot. President Obama's speech came at the Human Rights Campaign last night. That's a major advocate for equality for the gay and lesbian community. He talked about his opposition to the Defense of Marriage Act, but stopped short of openly endorsing same-sex marriage.
Obama continues to push the gay agenda. Not only does this destroy even more families, it also confuses children who are in sexually impressionable phases of life.
Public schools in every grade, even kindergarten, must teach your children to accept same-sex marriage. This really confuses children.
David, appreciate you and Tanya inviting us to come into your home. I've been looking forward to sitting down and talking to you about this because I think this is such an important story and what's happened with Rob and Robin. I think parents, I think they want to know, and I think parents need to know what's happening in our schools.
The beginning of 2005, our son Jacob was going into kindergarten, and he came home with a diversity book bag. And in the diversity book bag was a book entitled Who's in a Family by Robert Scutch, and that introduces children to same-sex households.
Now, wait a minute, let me be clear. Your son is in kindergarten.
Yes.
And he was given a book about homosexuality and marriage?
Yes.
I have the book right here. Who's in a Family. It introduces children to such things as Clifford and her dad's partner, Henry.
This is what they sent home with your 5-year-old?
That's correct, Tony.
Well, Robin, tell me what happened with your kids.
Well, back in March of this year, our son came home Friday afternoon and bounded in the front door and said, "Mom, Dad, guess what? Our teacher read us the funniest book. It was so silly." And we asked him, "What did you mean by that?" He said, "Well, it was about a prince who was getting married, but he didn't marry a princess. He married a prince. Isn't that so silly, Mom?" We were both really shocked. We thought, oh.
Maybe he has the details wrong.
You were hoping.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
That afternoon, we sent the teacher an email message. The teacher called back and said that yes, it was a book about two princes who got married.
Well, what book was it?
It's called King and King. It's a story that introduces the idea of men having a romantic relationship and getting married. We were shocked.
Another astonishing thing is that our son was able to quote sentences from the book. It made that much of an impression on him.
And your son is how old?
He's 7 years old.
Tomorrow, Thursday, is Gay and Lesbian Pride Day, which I believe is our 4th year at Cambridge Friends School. In our classrooms, from kindergarten through 8th grade, teachers will be talking about gay and lesbian issues. You talking a little bit about what you're going to do tomorrow at Gay and Lesbian Pride Day, and to raise any issues that might have come up in the classroom.
I can tell the truth that I'm a gay man, and that gives me so much more energy to be a better teacher, to be a better co-worker, and to be a better friend. I'll see you on the soccer pitch.
Well, I think that it's good that a lot of teachers came out because I think it's better to know somebody that's gay and it makes you look at it in a different way. Because now you actually feel like you know what gay is all about, and like it isn't actually different than anybody else.
Can you describe a little bit more what you meant by open-minded?
Like if you're not very open-minded, it's like, you know, like, let's say there's like a new kind of vegetable or something, and if you're not very open-minded, then you won't try it, because you're not like, you know, like to try new things and stuff.
Why are they doing this? Two women cannot produce a child. Same way, two men cannot produce a child. A study showed that the chemicals in our air, food and water are actually turning men into women slowly over time. One day there may be one gender only and reproduction would become privatized. Only the rich would be allowed to have children. The rest of us would basically be drones grown to work for subsistence wages.
Nursing pillows, car seats, high chairs, they may all contain a chemical linked to cancer. There's a new study out warning that 80% of baby products may contain this chemical. Sanjay?
In this particular study, they found that out of about 100 products surveyed, 80 of them had some of these flame retardants in them, and one of these flame retardants in particular, called TDCPP, that's been studied. It was banned back in the 70s, or at least removed from children's pajamas back in the 1970s, and it's back now because people use it as a good flame retardant with real concerns about potential effects on your DNA, potential effects causing cancer. So
Pringles potato chips made by Procter & Gamble in the United States are widely available in shops in Hong Kong. But tests by quarantine control authorities in Zhuhai in July found that the chips contain potassium bromate, an additive used to strengthen bread dough and improve the quality of flour. Consuming too much of the chemical can damage the nervous system and the kidneys. The World Health Organization warned that consuming more than 0.01 grams of potassium bromate a day increases the risk of cancer and has recommended banning it in food.
Silicone in chicken McNuggets and hundreds of other processed foods. Aspartame, that is the feces of genetically engineered bacteria that has incredible health problems that have been proven. Think for yourself. It goes on and on. ABC News, this goes back 4 years ago. Viral meat spray, advancing food safety. They spray a live virus on the meat to supposedly kill the bacteria. This is a live vaccine they spray on most of the meat you're consuming that you're buying from the store. It gets even worse. The petroleum distillates, or toxic waste that's left over from petroleum refineries that refine oil into gasoline, they take these tens of millions of pounds of toxic waste that's left over, the fluoride, the mercury, the lead, and they dump it on crops as supposed fertilizer. And what do crops like tomatoes and corn and potatoes do? They pull in all of those toxins out of the ground. In fact, scientists for many years have used plants to actually detoxify areas that have been contaminated. And those plants are pulling all of this up, and then you are eating it. That's why the Washington Post reported in January of 2008 that a major study found that nearly a third of the 55 popular brand name foods and beverage products were filled with mercury. Despite the fact that the people of Europe for over 20 years have fought off all the genetically modified wheat and corn and other crops being planted in their nation, now the EU is buckled and is accepting it. The United States is literally a testing ground for all of this. It's just automatically approved. And the people that work for these corporations, they're compartmentalized. They don't know what's going on. The people that work at these stores, they have no idea what's happening. This is affecting all of us. This is hurting everyone. Many different forms of cancer are growing by thousands of percentage points. Diabetes, all these different diseases. And in major studies, it's all been linked to the toxic additives that are in our food, our water. And I haven't even had time to get into MSG. I mean, I've interviewed brain surgeons, neurologists, scientists. I mean, it just devastates the brain. It's an excitotoxin. It destroys the liver, and it is in tens of thousands of products.
We consume it every day with the reassurance from our health authorities that it is doing us good. The truth is, fluoride is a poison, and adding it to our drinking water is an evolving social experiment started 40 years ago. Now one of the world's top fluoride experts has issued a grim warning about what it could be doing to our health, and that of unborn children.
The poison is fluoride, It's there because government health bureaucrats and dentists tell us it's for our common good, for reducing tooth decay, and at levels which won't harm you. That doesn't wash with Professor A.K. Shashila.
They should realize it's a poisonous substance. It doesn't promote health. It is a disease-causing agent, and fluoridation should be stopped as early as possible.
Professor Shashila is one of the world's leading experts on fluoride. The American Dental Association warns against using fluoridated water to mix baby formula. Not so here. Fluoride is also used as a preservative and also lurks in many products we consume. But apart from toothpaste, it's not listed on labels.
So it is coming into one's body through many sources, and you are not aware of it.
Here's what's in the mix made in Australia. A sickening cocktail of heavy metals like arsenic, barium, beryllium, cadmium, lead, mercury, and on it goes. And in much higher concentrations than is allowed for lead and arsenic.
Why should you make people drink a poisoned water?
Well, it's forced medication for the masses. And there are more than 1,000 doctors and scientists around the world who, like Professor Shashila, condemn what's going on.
Viruses that can be sprayed on you or put on your skin that go in and create basically lobotomies, a selective lobotomy in key areas of your brain to turn you into an emotionalist drone. And so, you know, your 8-year-old goes into puberty when she's a girl, and your boy looks like a girl and acts like a girl because they are a girl. So many gay people now is because it's a chemical warfare operation. I have the government documents where they said they're going to encourage homosexuality with chemicals so that people don't have children. I even catch myself, Bob, drinking out of these estrogen mimickers. But you'll probably say it if it's lined with it inside the plastic packaging. I wonder if this spring water, natural lime flavor I'm drinking. I know full well HEB's putting fluoride in this. Why am I drinking this? I know full well these kettle chips say that they don't have MSG, but they've got the yeast extract thing that says it's MSG. What's wrong with us? Why won't we stop? Why am I so weak? And they know that they have immersed us in this, Bob. For those watching on PrisonPlanet.tv, here's the inside of this juice box. And if they zoom in any more, see that thin plastic? It's got it. And I'm letting my children drink this. After you're done drinking your little juices, well, you're ready to go out and have a baby. You're ready to put makeup on. You're ready to wear a short skirt. You're ready to go, put together a garden of roses or something. You're ready to put lipstick on. Look at this.
Crowley taught that in order for the new eon of Antichrist to be established, he had to initiate the world into homosexuality. Crowley began by implementing many of his homosexual sex magic rituals into a secret order called the OTO. The musical group White Stains named themselves after erotic homosexual poetry written by Aleister Crowley, which Crowley grossly entitled White Stains.
They keep with us, then maybe we're going to have to start throwing bombs to make them stop.
We're young, we're queer, we're gonna rule the world. We're young, we're queer.
You're about to see startling evidence that Crowley had as much influence on the world with his sex revolution as he did with the drug revolution. Aleister Crowley knew that if he was to establish a new age of Antichrist, he would have to destroy God's design for family, consisting of men and women as husband and wife. Crowley therefore declared in his book Magic Without Tears that family was public enemy number one. Crowley, who was out to destroy the family, said this, quote, "Think what horrid images it evokes from the mind. Not only Victorian, wherever the family has been strong, it has always been an engine of tyranny. Curse them. They are always in the way. To the performance of this work, speaking of the new age, the nearest obstacle and the most obvious is the family."